Alrighty, so this is Scythe. I just covered the rules. I did a quick rules summary. If you want to go watch it, you can go view it on YouTube. I'll put the link in the description or somewhere, or you can go to my YouTube page, youtube.com/whackasm, and go look at the rules there. Just as a quick reminder, I don't have the most optimal camera setup right now. I am playing from the side of the board because of just the size of the board. I was having a hard time getting my camera to capture it, so I had to do it sideways. But I do have two cameras, which I will be toggling back and forth with. Also not totally ideal because the keyboard that I need to toggle back and forth is kind of far, so you're gonna hear me walk around a lot, and you might even see some wires get in the way. But anyway, this is a rough first play. So anyway, this is solo play. I've randomly chosen a player mat and a random opponent. I am the white meeples. My opponent is the red meeples. My faction is called the Pollyanna. I am Anna in the Wojciech. I have a bear. I am fighting Olga and Chenga of the Rusviet Union. They are red. They start with these bonuses. They start with 2 combat cards and 3 on the power. I start with 2 on the power track, and I start with 3 combat cards, but only 2 on the power track. I start with 6 coins. For single player, they start with 5 coins, and they start the game. They start the game on the popularity track, always on 10. It never moves. The only thing that's going to move on their end is the power track. I still have to go up and down the popularity track just like anyone else would, but they don't have to deal with it. So just something to consider. So anyways, my first solo game. I will be learning as I go. Like I said, a little bit. This first game will be a little bit slower than I would like, but we'll figure it out. So anyway, I'm going to start the timer. We'll see how long it goes. And there we go. All right, so I believe they take the first turn. Turn order still happens by the what do you call it? The player mat that you get. They are 4. They took mechanical. I took 3. So actually, I go first. I believe I go first. I don't think there's any rules saying that I go first, but let me check the Automa rules for this. No, I think you pick a random faction mat for a faction. Yeah, I think it goes by the same rules, so I'm just gonna play by that. I'll look that up anyway. So anyway, I go first. Also annoyingly, I am on the opposite side of the board. Automa is on this side of the board, but I'll deal with it. For my action, I can choose one of these 4 actions, and the first thing I think I am going to choose to do is produce stuff, I think. Do I want to produce anything? Actually, no. I am going to trade to start the game with. And I'm just going to take 2 oil drums. So I'm taking this action. I have to pay 1 coin. So I pay 1 coin to the bank. And I basically can either take 2 resources of my choosing, or I can increase the popularity track by 1. I'm going to take 2 resources. And I can put that on any space that I control. So I'm going to choose to take 2 oil drums, and I'm just going to put them here. Boom, boom. And I can take the bottom action. I could pay to build something, but I can't afford to pay and do something, so that's it for me. So now we do the Automata deck, and I'll just keep these here. So this is going to be the slower part, I think. So the first card is like so. So the first thing that's going to happen, they would move a mech if they had one, but they don't have a mech out. Then they would, I already have to look up an icon. I think this would be, they would move towards either a factory or an encounter. Yeah, encounter factory. Select the unit, the automatic character. So this second move action they can do. They couldn't do the first one, so they're gonna do the second one. Valid territories. Territories in the neighborhood of any automata unit that contain the factory if the automata has no factory card or an encounter. So they want to move to any territory in the neighborhood of an automata unit that contain the factory. If they own the factory, they would move there, but they don't. If the automata has no factory card or an encounter token. So in this case, they're going to look here, and for single player, there's a concept of neighborhoods, and any space that has a unit, a neighborhood is basically everything adjacent to it that fits a particular that fits a particular thing that it's looking for. So it's looking for neighborhood of any automata unit that contains a factory. So nothing contains a factory or an encounter card. Does contain an encounter card. So we choose the destination territory, any valid territory without an enemy unit. So there's no enemy units. So it could be either of these, or an automata, or an automata mech. So we couldn't move to a mech for this one. Tiebreaker: the territory closest to the factory. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Normal reading order is the other tiebreaker. So alright, so if the character never ever ends its move action on a territory with an encounter token, whether it took the encounter factory action or not, remove the encounter token. If the character ends its turn on the factory and the automatic doesn't have a factory card, then draw a random factory card and place it face down in the automatic faction mat. Alright, so I select the character. Valid territories. Territories in the neighborhood of any automata unit that contain the factory or inherent. Okay, so basically, I could go here or here, and the tiebreaker is the one that's closer to the factory. This is closer to the factory than this is. If they were the same, then I would go in normal reading order, which is basically left to right down each row to the first one that happens. So he's going to go here. This encounter token gets removed, and that's all that happens. I believe I'm doing that right. Alright, so that's a lot of thinking for one action, but like I said, I'm learning. So after they do one move action, they get stuff. If they are red, which they are, they get a worker. Deploy a worker from the automatic faction mat. Automatic faction mat to their home base. It doesn't go to a village like it would for a human player. So a human player would put it out in a village. Automata puts it into their home base. Okay. So yeah, I should be doing this over here. Just realized. Yeah. So first we moved. Yeah, I'm actually going to do it this way. It's easier. So first we moved, then they got a worker. If it wasn't red, then they would have. Did they get everything? Yeah, so they get everything. So basically, they get 2 workers and a coin because they happen to be the red faction. So they're going to get a second worker put down, and they get an extra coin. So now they're up to 6 coins. There we go. So first thing that would happen is they get 1 movement, then they get all of this. Then if I had an enlist action and there was a bonus, I would get that. Next, we move the star up on the tracker because there's a star, and then that's all that happens for the turn. So this now goes there. And all right, so now I go. And I don't know what I'm doing right now. I'm probably going to play really poorly. I had a plan, so I'm going to stick with it. So now I'm going to take this action. First, I get to move 2 units. 1 unit, I can move 1 unit twice or 2 separate units once. I am going to move my character 2 spaces, 1, 2, and I'm going to take this encounter token, and we will see how encounters work right now. So basically, this is what it looks like. Whoops, let's get this. We see a character with a bear in the tundra. We don't really know what's happening, but our options are as follows. And let's do it over here because it's easier. Our options are as follows. The bears frolic together in the snow, gain 2 money and 1 popularity. I could start a bear cavalry by enlisting the animal. I could pay 3 to enlist 1 recruit. I could have a bear meat sandwich for lunch. I could pay 2 popularity to gain 4 food. Well, I could take any 2 of these in any order because that's my faction special ability. So the first thing I'm definitely going to do is gain 2 and 1 popularity. So let's get some money out. See if I can actually sit down a little bit while playing. I need to get like a way to toggle between the 2 without having to get up. That's really what I need to do. See if I can figure that out real quick. Yeah, I could do that with my mouse. Perfect. Let's see if I can sit for the rest of this game. All right. So anyway, I take the 2 coins, puts me at 7 coins, and I'm also going to increase myself on the popularity track. So just so you can see what I did, I moved myself up from 2 to 3 on this track right here. Boom, boom. All right. So next up, then I am going to pay 3 to enlist 1 recruit. I think that's what I'm going to do. Yes, that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to pay 3. I mean, gaining 4 food would be really good. That means I could take an enlist action. Nope. I'm gonna take a guy. So for me, I'm gonna put him out, and when you take a recruit action, sorry, it's something I do have to look up. Let's see. See what I can do here. I believe when you recruit, it just goes out to any territory that you own already. But let me just triple check. Recruit. Oh wait, Enlist one recruit. Sorry. I got that wrong. That's a worker. So enlist one recruit means I can just literally take one of these right now and get the bonus. So I will just take the coin bonus because that seems the most sensible thing to do. Sorry, I have to think here for a second how I want to do this. Yeah, so I'm gonna work on my popularity. So I'm gonna take the 2 coins. So I paid 3 coins, I get 2 back, so I basically only lose 1 coin, so I'm down to 6. And that's everything on this this card. So I'm done with my move action. That was my second move action, and I'm done with the encounter card. So I will put the encounter card away for now. I will discard it. All right, so now I can put my rule books down. So now I can take the bottom action, and I can pay 2 oil, which I have 2 oil to pay right here. So I'll pay that, and I can upgrade one of my slots and get a coin. So now I'm also going to get this coin back. And I'm going to upgrade any one of these spots. And an upgrade action is basically lets me take one of these cubes and move it down. And I think I'm going to do it for the bolster action, I think. And I could put it anywhere that I want. That doesn't really matter where I put it, but I'm gonna put it here just because it costs me so much right now to get mechs out, and I wanna fix that. So anyway, so that's the end of my action. So now the Automa is gonna go, and so basically, if they were this if they were this faction, they would get everything in this parentheses, or they would try to do it, but that's not going to happen. So instead, they're going to do the second thing, and they're going to do the same thing. They're going to try to move towards the factory if they can, or get an encounter token. So again, I have to look up how this works. Encounter value, select automatic character. So we're going to do that right now. I select the character. Valid hexes in the neighborhood of any automata unit. So I don't know if that includes itself. Yeah. The factory, if automata has no factory card, or hex with an encounter token. So pick up the any neighborhood of any automata unit. The factory hex with encounter token. Why is it worded differently than in the rulebook? I just went over this one. Alright, select unit. The automatic is character. Valid territories. Territories in the neighborhood of any automata. Sorry, this is boring. I'm just reading the instructions real quick. Like I said, this is going to be a bad first play. Alright, including the selected unit. Alright, so we select it. Valid territories in the neighborhood of any Automa unit or its home base which do not contain an enemy unit or Automa combat unit other than the one selected in step 1. Pick up the sorry. Territories in the neighborhood of any automatic unit that contain the factory. So at the beginning of the game, it can't go over any water, so it can't get anywhere here right now. So it can't get any closer to the factory. Pick up the character, choose territories in any valid territory without an enemy unit or an automatic attack. Tiebreaker, territory close to the factory. We're in a counter token. So it's basically it's not gonna do anything because it can't get to this encounter token yet, and it can't get closer to the factory. So we're gonna skip it. And where did I put the card? Alright, here it is, sorry. Alright, so then it's gonna try to do the third thing, and it's going to I think it's move the hero. I gotta learn all these icons. Yep, so it's gonna try to move the hero as the last icon. Closest to the Automata's base, so there's only one valid, and territories in the neighborhood of any Automata unit or its home base which do not contain an enemy unit. Valid territory that is shortest distance from an enemy combat unit. So it's trying to basically move closer to fight me, but again, because it can't cross any water, so it's not going to do anything. Basically, what happens. So then it's going to get a coin, and we're going to move the star up. And that's all that happens for that automata action. Hopefully I'll start getting this a bit faster once I recognize the icons and how it actually kind of works. Alright, so it's now my turn. And I think what I am going to do, since I have no resources, I am going to now trade again. So I'm going to pay a coin. And I can get 2 resources of my choosing. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to get 2 oil. And I'm going to put the 2 oil. Whoops. Yeah, so I'm just going to take the trade action. And I'm just going to take 2 oil again and put it down on the board. And I paid a coin to do so, and at the bottom, if I wanted to, I could pay 4 wood to build, but I don't have 4 wood right now, so I'm not going to do that. And that's going to be it for my turn. So now the Automata is going to go, and first it's going to again try and move towards the water. Towards the factory or encounter hex. It can't, so then it's going to try to get closer to me. It can't, so it's not going to move. It is going to get a worker out onto the board, which just goes into its home base, so it has 3 workers out there now, and it's also just going to get a random combat card. And if I had the enlist bonus for a combat card, I would get one now, but I don't, so there we go. I believe I'm playing that correctly. So now it's my turn to go. And I am going to do what I did last time. I'm going to go over here. I can move twice. I'm going to move both of my workers. Into the space with my my character unit, and that's all I'm going to do for that. And then I'm going to spend my 2 oil drums that I have on the board here, and I'm going to spend it to pay for this upgrade. And for the upgrade action, Again, I get to move a cube anywhere on the top down. And I'm going to do that, I think, with this action, the move action. And we're going to cover this second cube, making my deploy mechs 2 instead of 2 iron instead of 4 iron. And I have to remember to see what my objective are. So I need to build at least 3 structures and have at least 7 popularity and have 0 mechs. Or I need to gain 13 popularity with at least 5 workers. Both of these are pretty hard to do. I'm probably going to go for the popularity. You know what? Actually, I'm going to do it that way. Instead of the move cube, I'm going to do this way, popularity. And that's it for my turn. So now the Automata gets to go. Again, this is easy difficulty. I also forgot to move this up. So 3 cards, 3 stars. This one is also a star. If it was the blue, if it was the blue faction, it would do that. It doesn't. So in this case, it's going to try to move a mech. It doesn't have any mechs on the board, so it's not going to do that. And I just do want to verify something real quick, that one of the actions is that they get a mech, I believe. Yeah. All right, so and then it gets 4 power, military power. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And I increased it to 7, so they are now up to 7 military power. And no enlist bonus, so that's all that happens for that turn. And I do have to increase this. So once it gets to the next space, the Automata technically will have water walking, and it can go anywhere it wants. So that should be probably bad for me, but we'll see what happens. So anyway, now it's my turn. So I'm gonna kind of do what I've been doing. Basically what I'm really trying to do is I'm trying to get a mech out onto the board. This way I can get my water walking ability, and I can try to get to that to the factory before they do. So I'm going to take the same action. I'm going to trade, so I have to pay 1 to trade, and I am going to, instead of doing 2 oil this time, I am instead going to do 2 iron. So 2 iron, and 2 iron, and I'm going to drop it into the space where all my guys are. And then what am I going to be doing now? Yeah. And then I can't pay for the bottom ability to build or anything, so I'm not going to be doing that. And that's it. That's it for my turn. So now they go. And again, they're going to try to move or move. And again, I don't understand where they could be going because they can't cross water. So nothing happens. They do get another worker out and another coin. And the star goes up. So now they can start moving around the board. Pretty straightforward. Now I think when we start getting those move actions for the character, it's going to start moving closer and closer to the factory. So hopefully I can get to the factory first, but we're going to see what happens. So now it's my turn. I kind of already told you what I'd be doing, so we're going to do it. I'm going to go here. I'm going to pay one coin. I need change, so I'm going to be down to 4 coins after this. Let's see here. Not a lot of ones, huh? 1. Alright, so we'll do this way. Gonna give them 5, 3, 4, 5. And then I get 4 from that. Alright, so I'm paying 1, I'm going to bolster. So I'm going to get 3 power on the power track. So 1, 2, 3. And then I'm going to take the bottom action, which is I'm going to pay the 2 iron that I have here. And I can deploy a mech, which is what I'm going to do. And I believe, where do I deploy mechs? Onto a space or my home base? Let's see. Stuff I should know already. I played the game before, but you know, what can you do? Deploy. On a territory you control with at least 1 worker on it. So I am going to take this my river walking ability, and it's gonna go there. All right. So sorry, I'll show you where it goes. It goes on the same spot where all my guys are. I have all my workers, my character, and my mech all in the same spot right now, which is right here. That's where I put it. So that's the end of my turn. But I just want to show you, I took this mech, which gives me my river walking ability. I could have taken some of these other powers, which allows me to move from lakes and move from any lake to another lake. Actually, move to from lakes and move from any lake to another. Actually, you know what? I want that instead of my my river walking ability, because that means I can just cross over and get a faction card. I believe that's what that's going to let me do. I also could have, in combat, I could do not lose popularity when forcing opponent's workers to retreat, and +1 hex per movement. So, yeah. So I already pretty much can't go for this objective to have at least 3 structures, have at least 7 popularity, and 0 mechs. So, because I already have a mech out. I mean, I could lose a mech at some point, I think, and I'm not even sure if I can lose a mech. So I kind of have to go for this. It means at some point I'm going to have to get my popularity, get workers out, and then fight and use up all of my power. The only way I'm going to be able to get this out anytime. So I'll keep them both flipped here, but you can't really see them on camera. But I didn't get the best objectives, I believe, for my race. So we'll see what happens. So that's it for my turn. Now they're going to go. And alright, so the first thing that's going to happen is I have to see what that is. It's not a move worker, it's a attack move versus combat. Oh, okay. The automatic combat unit closest to the automatic's home base. So that's going to be the character. Any territory in the neighborhood of any automatic unit or its home base which has an enemy worker but no combat unit. So none. Pick up a selecting unit. The valid territory with the most resources. Yeah, so the first thing it's going to try to do is if it could, it would try to kill one of my workers. It can't. So the next thing it's going to do, it's going to move a worker. And I don't know what how the move worker action goes. I haven't done that this game yet. The automatic worker closest to the automatic's home base. So in this case, we have 4 workers in the home base. So I just have to choose one of these. Determine valid territories. Territories in the neighborhood of any automatic unit or its home base which do not contain an enemy unit or an automata worker other than the one placed in step 1. Selected in step 1. So I'm going to pick up the worker, choose the destination territory, the valid territory that is in the neighborhood of the most automata units and isn't in the neighborhood of enemy combat units. So I believe that is going to either be here or here. because it's next to 2 units, or here it would be next to 2 units. Here would be 1. Here would be 1, 1, 1, 1. So I believe that's where it goes. It would go in. The tiebreaker would be territory closest factory, which is definitely this one, or normal reading order. So I believe that's where it would go. That is in the neighborhood of the most Automa units, and isn't in the neighborhood of actually, it might actually be here, because then it would be next to 3. Yeah, I believe that's the case. All right, so let's look at the rest of the card. So all that would happen now is just realized that the green here is like really washed out. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna mess with the lighting for a second. Alright, anyway. So now it gets a worker as well. And it goes on to its home base. So it has like 7 of its workers out already. And then a star goes up. So we have not skipped any turns yet, or had a star every single turn. So anyway, now it's my turn. So I am now going to, I believe, I'm going to try to be efficient here. So I'm going to take the trade action first. I'm going to pay 1. You know what? And I also didn't take my my 3 coins from my my mech. It's kind of important. Let's not forget to do that. So I'm at 7 coins. So now I'm going to take the trade action again, and I'm going to take 2 resources, and I am going to take 2 oil, and I'm going to take the 2 oil and put them in the only spot that I can, which is right here. And that's it for that part of the action. And then I can't do the bottom action. So I actually don't know if I'm being efficient or not, but I'm trying to be efficient. All right, so now they're gonna go. So all right, so they're gonna try to move now, and now they can cross rivers. So let's reread this again, make sure that I get it right. Counter or factory. Territories in the neighborhood of any automata unit that contain the factory if the automata has no factory card or an encounter token. Alright, so does not contain the factory. Does contain a encounter token. Pick up the character. The territory closest to the factory. So it's just going to take this encounter token, I believe, next. Because it can't get to the factory yet. And then it is, I think, going to deploy its first mech. Let me make sure that that's what that means. The Automa's characters on his faction mat, then deploy to the Automa's home base. If not, deploy mech from the Automa's home base. Faction mat, if any, are left to the Automa's home base. So, yes, they are getting their first mech out onto the board. And it goes into their home base as well. So they have a bunch of stuff here, and they're starting to spread out. All right, so my turn now. I'm going to take the move action, and I can move one unit twice. So I'm going to move my character. Move my character twice. I have the ability that I can move to from lakes and move from any lake to another. So I believe that's pretty straightforward. I don't think I need to look that up, but this is my first game. All of these are explained. So let me double check that I'm doing this correctly. Alright, yeah, that's really all it does. So I am going to end my turn on this this space, which means that on the factory space, which means that I get to look at these 3 factory cards and choose one. So I believe what this one lets me do is I can pay 2 resources that are not equal to each other, and I can either gain an enlist action for free or an upgrade action for free. Kind of doing pretty good with these actions, so I probably won't take this one. This one I can pay 2 coins, and I can deploy and also gain power. This one's pretty good for me. I might take that. This one I can pay any resource, and I can get a card and a bunch of power. And they all have the ability to move as the second action. So the question becomes, do I really want to you know what, I've upgraded my my mechs twice already, so I'm just gonna take the long-term one, pay a resource, get all this stuff for combat. That's what I'm gonna do. So this becomes basically my 5th action that I can do, and that's, you know, stays out. And these would go back, and if we were playing with other humans, they would be able to get those. The automatic can still get it too. So, and I want to make sure that I moved the star up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 stars for them. So it should have gone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Nope, I forgot to do it last turn. All right, so that's my move action. Now I can do the bottom. I can upgrade something, and I'm going to do so. I'm going to pay the 2 oil that I put out last turn, and I am going to upgrade and get a coin. So I'm going to get 1 coin for doing this, and I will upgrade something. And I'm kind of all in it at the moment, so I might as well do this. I want to see if that's the one that I want to actually do it on. Yeah, let's go for it. All right, so now they go. All right, so this one, because I'm playing against the easy difficulty automata, it doesn't move. Normally it would take whatever the first action is. Because it has this icon, it doesn't move. It's kind of being friendly to me since this is my first game. It does get 2 coins. So I have to get out 2 coins here. 1, 2. And if I had this enlist action, which it would be this one. Nope, it would be this one. I would get that as a bonus right now, but I don't have it. And because there's no star in the middle, this does not increase. So we're good. So now it's my turn. I think I am finally going to produce. Start getting some workers out onto the board. So I'm going to take the produce action. And the way the produce action works is on 2 different hexes, I can produce with all of the workers that I have out. Since I have a mech and 2 workers on this space right here, this is the produce worker space. I can do as many of these as I want. I'm going to do both. And what happens is I'm going to take 2 workers off my mat here. 1, 2. And unfortunately, this is going to mean now every time I want to take the produce action, it's going to actually cost me 1 power to be able to do so. But that's okay. I can afford the power. So I'm just going to put both of these workers out. And I believe, again, they go onto a hex that I control. And since I only control 1 hex right now, they all go there. But let's triple check to be sure. Produce. Where are you? Produce. Produce. No. On the territories you have selected for production, each worker may produce 1 token. That resource token is placed on the territory where it's produced. Oh, so it goes where it was produced. Worker produces another worker. Pick up the leftmost worker of the produce and place it in the village. Yeah, so it goes actually where I produced, not any territory that I want. That makes more sense. But it still goes to the same spot. Switch back over. So I took the produce action. I could pay 3 food to get an enlist action and 2 coins, but I cannot, so I will do nothing. So now the Automa is going to go. So it's going to try to move towards the factory. I believe now it will actually get closer since there is no encounter to stop it. So valid territories. Third in the neighborhood of any automata unit that contain the factory. Oh, that doesn't happen yet. Or an encounter token. So there's no valid. There's nothing it's going to do. So it's going to skip that. So the next that's going to happen is it's just going to move. It's going to just move the main character somewhere. So valid territories in the neighborhood of any automata unit or home base which do not contain an enemy unit, combat unit other than the one selected in step 1. Okay. The valid territory that is shortest distance from an enemy combat unit. So that would be here. Oops. And so I pick it up from here. This is the territory that is shortest distance to a combat unit. Or the territory close to the factory, which that also is. And that's all that happens for that one. So then now it's going to get 1 power and a worker. So it has all of its workers out. Does it get a star for that? Nope. Power track only in combat. Well, it has all of its workers out. So I don't know how many more worker cards it's going to get. And then if I had the power enlist bonus, I'd be getting it right now, but I don't have that enlistment. So all right, so now it's my turn. I am going to take the trade action again, and I'm going to put out 2 oil. I'm taking the trade action. and I'm putting out 2 oil onto my space. And that's it for my turn. Is that it for my turn? Check. So I took the trade action. I have to pay 1 to do that. Sorry, I didn't do that. And then I would have to pay 4 lumber. I can't produce 4 lumber. So that's it. Alright, so the Automa's gonna go. Oops, and then, sorry, this should have gone up last turn too. Alright, so if it's my faction, it would do something. It doesn't, so a worker is going to move. And I've not memorized it yet, so I have to look it up. Worker closest to the Automa's home base, so that would be one of these guys. Territories in the neighborhood of any Automata unit or its home base, which do not contain an enemy unit or an Automata worker other than the one selected in step 1, so it can't be any of these. The valid territory that is in the neighborhood of the most Automata units and isn't in the neighborhood of enemy combat units. So here it is next to 3, here it is next to 2, here it is next to 2, 1, 1, and I don't think I can put it in lakes, so I believe this is where it's gonna go. Alright, assuming I am playing this correctly. Alright, so next up, it's now going to then get 1 coin. It does not get the bonus coin. And a star goes up. So it's 1 space away from getting its first star. And stuff happens when it gets its first star. We're going to start using the second side of the deck. When that happens, we'll see if it happens next turn. Sorry, so the 1 extra coin and then the star. Alright, so now it's my turn. I'm now finally going to move and upgrade. I can move 1 unit twice. Don't think I really want to fight him right now because I think he would win in a fight. I will stay where I am with my main character. I'm not next to any I am next to an encounter token. But I also want to try to get myself ready to... so can workers move through a lake? That's the question. No, but my mech can take all the... Okay, so I think that's what I'm going to do. I am going to... So I still don't have water walking. So I'm going to take... I'm going to move my mech 1 space. And I'm going to take 3 workers with me. I'm going to take 2 workers with me. And that's my first movement. And then my second movement is I'm just going to move my main character into this lake space right here. Ooh, why is there something sticky? And that's all I'm gonna do for my other movement. And then for my bottom action, I'm gonna pay the 2 oil that I have on the board here. And I'm just gonna upgrade again. This time I'm going to upgrade my move action, and I'm going to put it down on my enlist action and make that a little bit better. So that's it for this turn for me. So now they go. Alright, so they don't get a move action. They get one bonus combat card. And if I have the enlist combat card bonus, I would get the bonus, but they don't. So they're just going to get a random combat card. And the star does not move up on the automata because there's no star on the card. So that was not a bad turn for me. So now it's my turn. I'm going to take the produce action, and I can produce on 2 different hexes. So I have now 2 hexes with 2 workers on it. 1, 2. Each worker can produce what's on it. This one can produce 2 food. I have not put food out yet, so let's do that. 1, 2. And this can produce 2 more workers. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to put out 2 more workers. However, to do it, I forgot. I have to pay one power. And soon I'm going to have to start paying for popularity too, so I'm going to have to start working on my popularity really soon. I've not gotten my enlistment bonus for that yet so far. That's kind of sad, but it's fine. So then, on the bottom, I have 2 food. And because I upgraded, I only need to spend 2 food, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to pay my 2 food that I just put out. And I'm going to do an enlistment action, which means I can take one of these and pop it up there. I'm going to take the 2 power for now. So that's going to, whoops, that's going to move me to 6 on the track. And I now, actually, I don't want to take the combat one though. I want to take, not money, I want to take the power. Those are the 2 things I think I'm going to need the most. And then I get 2 coins from that as well. So, see if I have any more singles here. 1, so let's get all the singles out of this bag now, and then I will worry about change once I get all the singles out. So 1, I know there's another one in here, I just had it, there we go. 2 coins. Perfect. Yep, so that's it for my turn. Now they are going to go. Alright, so first thing that's going to happen, they are going to move a worker. Now if I remember correctly, it's the one closest to home, and it's going to move to a space that has the most friendly things in it that doesn't have a combat unit in the neighborhoods. So I believe it could move here, 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 or here. This has 1, I don't know if this counts. I don't think it does. 2, 1, 1, 2. And then when there's a tie, you go by normal reading order, which is across the board left to right like this. So I believe this is the tie. Actually, no, I believe this would be the tie. Sorry, this space counts too, because its only requirements are a space. Now I have to look it up. I thought I had that memorized finally, but let's make sure. Territories in the neighborhood of any automata unit or its home base, which do not contain an enemy unit or an automata worker other than the one. Yep. So that's where it's gonna go. That has the most units next to it because of the character. All right. It's going to get its last worker. It already has its last worker and a coin. then I would get a free coin if I took that enlist action, but I did not. So it's going to get a worker, a coin. It has all its workers already, and a coin. And I don't think it gets anything when it can't put out a worker, but let's double check that. Yeah. So now it gets its first star out, and I can put it anywhere. It doesn't matter which one I put it on. The only 3 spots that it can get on its own would be 1, 2, or 3. So I'll put it on the heart one because it's closer to me. And then what happens now, we're going to shuffle the Automata deck. And after we shuffle it, we have to start using the red side now, which is a little bit more aggressive and harder to deal with. Which means that the game is going to end significantly faster, I think. Alright. So anyway, it's now my turn. I have no stars on the board, so I have to kind of pay attention to that. I have no resources, so I can't take my 5th action. I think I'm going to stay consistent with my actions here. And I'm going to trade. And instead of 2 oil, I am going to get 2 iron. So I'm going to put 2 iron out. I'm going to put it back here just to be safe. That's my trade action. I have to pay 1. Not sure if I paid. I may be double paying right now. I'm not sure, but I have to pay 1 to do that. And then I can't build anything because I don't have the lumber to do so yet. So that's that. So now they're gonna go. So now there's a lot more to look at. So I think all that happens is I just use the second side. I still think it's 1 move and all that. I don't think anything changes. So its hero is going to try to move. So we select the Automatus character. Territory is the neighborhood of any automat that need to contain the factory or an encounter token. Pick up the character, any valid territory without an enemy unit or an automata. So it could go here. It could go here. But it wants to go to the factory. So it gets a factory card randomly. That's all that does. So then it's going to get 3 power and a 1, 2, 3, 3 power and a worker. It already has a worker, and I would get a bonus combat card right now if I had this enlistment free, but I do not. So now it's my turn. I am going to take the bolster and deploy action this turn. So I am going to get 3 power myself. And I'm only going to have to pay 1 iron. So I'm going to take 1 of the irons that I put out last turn to deploy a mech. And I'm going to take the Riverwalk ability. Actually, do I need to take the Riverwalk ability? No. I'm going to take the 1+ per hex on movement. And I think I could put this in any territory that I control if I said that correctly before, but let's make sure. Deploy. Yep, with at least one worker on it. So I put it, so you can see where I put it. I put it with my 4 workers there. So I did the top action, and I have to pay 1 to do that. I have to remember to always do that. And I'm, but I paid the 1 iron, and now I get 3 coins as well. I get these 3 coins back. 1, 2, 3. And I'm just going to exchange down because I know it's going to become an issue on the next card, most likely. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alrighty, so that's the end of my turn. Now the Automa is going to get to go. Alright. So first it's going to try to attack, I believe, is what that first action says. Alright, yeah. Attack move versus combat unit. So the automatic combat unit closest to the Automata's home base, so it's going to be a mech. Any territory in the neighborhood of any Automata unit or its home base which contains an enemy combat unit. So, I'm gonna have to take this mech, and it's going to want to attack here. And it wants to attack the one with the fewest combat units, which should be this one. And and it will only attack if its power is at least 7, and its power is 11, so it definitely will. The territory closest to the factory, normal reading order. Place selected unit on the destination territory. All right. So, we don't fight yet, I don't believe. I believe we only do combat at the end. Yeah, I believe it happens at the end of the round. I don't see any rules that change that, so I think it's going to get its power first. At the end of a player's move action. Okay, so it happens now. Alright, so I believe the way combat works, and this is the first time I'm doing combat, so I'll switch over to this. So I think the first thing I do is I choose my combat and power and combat cards. So this is going to be me. I don't really want to lose a combat right now. Plus I could use the star for fighting. So I mean, I have the maximum, so I think I'm just gonna use that. I'm gonna use full 7 power in my dial, and I'm gonna use a 5. Again, normally if this was against a human player, I would set these things secretly, and a human player would not even know if I added any cards or not, and then we would reveal at the same time. But since I'm playing against a computer, I choose my stuff first, so I'm going to be doing 12 combat. I'll just put this down for now. So the next thing is I draw an Automa card and place it sideways on the combat discard pile. So in this case, we're looking down here. So we look at the power range. Right now, its power is 11. So between 8 and 13, it's also going to use 7 power for its attack. The number below the Automa's power combat range shows the number which is available. In addition to its power, it will add a number of random combat cards from its deck as indicated by the amount of combat card symbols. 0 to 3 cards. If it has less than cards indicated, it plays as many cards as possible. If the automatic loses combat, then retreat its combat unit to the faction mat instead of the home base. Okay. So it's not going to play any cards, so I use my best combat card, but whatever. So I'm going to end up winning the battle because I played 12, it played 7. We both are going to lose 7 points. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's going to lose this. It's going to go back to its mat. And then following the combat, I must check to see if I claimed any resources on the disputed territory as described. So I get 2 resources. Alright, if it had workers, it would go to the home base. It would get a combat card if it had a worker with it, but it doesn't. Okay. Trying to see if there's anything else that I'm missing that I have to do. Whoops. Goes back here. Resolving resources. Since the Automa doesn't use resources, an extra step is taken after combat to simulate an Automa resource on the board. If you were the attacker at 1, or if you moved into space with an Automa worker, then take the last card not used for combat. Oh, okay, so it would not be this card that I used for combat that would determine the resources. It would be the one that was last used on a space. Also, I forgot to move up 2 stars. 1, 2. Alright, so we'll put this up here because that's a different combat. So if it's a lake, which I'm on, then it would not get any resources anyway. But the card below it also gives no resources. So no resources for me, but I do believe I get my first star onto the board for my first combat, for winning my first combat. I believe even the loser gets one, but I gotta double check. That's how that works. All right, so that's it for the combat. We do the rest of the card now because that was their movement. They're gonna get their 3 power now. 1, 2, 3. That puts them back at 7. Puts them back on 7 on the board. And yay, I finally get my first enlist bonus. Since I have this free, I get a popularity. So I'm gonna go from 3 to 4. I still got a long way to go, especially if I want to get my my objective card out, which may not happen at all, but we will try. So that's their turn. So now it's my turn. I am going to take the movement action. So because I have 3 movement icons and I took the +1 hex per movement, I can move one guy 6 spaces. I can move 3 different guys 2 spaces each. So I'm going to do some of that right now, I think. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my 4 workers that I have here. Actually, do I want to do 4? I'm going to take... Yeah, I'm going to do 4 workers. Oops, I gotta switch it. So I'm going to take this mech, I'm going to move it 1 space. I'm going to take all 4 workers, and I'm going to drop them off at the lumber mill. I'm going to take my mech and move it back there for the second action. That's 1 of my movement. For my second movement, I'm going to move my main character. I'm going to move from a lake to a lake because I have the special ability to do that for 1 movement. And my second one, I'm going to take this is that how I want to do it? So I don't know if I can actually do this. I don't think I can go from here to here. There's no like land spaces. I think I can go... Yeah, I don't think I can go from here to here. I'm still crossing a river. I could go from here to here because it's land, here to here, or here to here, or here to here. I believe that's the case, and there's something sticky on my board and I don't like it. I don't know what it's from. Need to clean that off somehow. But I believe I could easily do this. 1, 2 for my first movement and do this encounter. That's my second movement, and I get an encounter card. So let's see what the encounter card is. Alright, so there's a big mech in the forest. I could pick fruit for the lady and keep a few for myself. I can gain 2 food and 1 popularity. That's not bad. I can pay the lady to supply my empire with her apples. I can give 2 money to gain 1 worker and 3 food. So I can get a lot of food here, which might be my best thing that I can do. Or I can banish the lady from her family's land. I can pay 2 popularity and build 1 structure. I think I'm going to gain 2 food for 1 popularity, and then I'm going to pay 2 to gain 1 worker and 3 food. So I'm going to gain... So I got to get 5 food total. So first I'm going to gain 2 food. And I'm going to put it here. And 1 popularity. And then I have to gain 3 food. Oh, kind of just... Yeah, it actually it doesn't matter. I put them on the lumber, so it's totally fine. In fact, I'm going to put all the food there. But I have to pay 2 money to do that, and also I gain a worker. And I believe the worker can go on any space that I have a unit there as well. So I will double check exactly. That's exactly where I can put them. Counter cards. And I have to spend 2 money. Sorry. I forget to do that. Oh, okay. Same territory as my character. Well, that's a little bit worse. Important to know. I may have cheated earlier. I don't remember what I got on my first one. Yeah, I got money last time in a recruit, so it didn't really change too much. But all that money now is sitting there with my my guy. So I need to double check if I can move from Lake Square to Lake Square, like I think I can. It's not sure if these are still rivers when you're on a lake. I think they are. Well, it's something that I can ask. So yeah, anyway, I get all of that and a worker there. So again, it could be worse. And then I still have 1 movement action left. So I'm gonna take this, and I'm gonna move 2. I'm moving from here to here, and I'm gonna get this last encounter card, and I get 2 of those as well because that's my faction's bonus. I need to start doing more of that. So here we have like a beach with a big ship in the background. I could take a ride on the ferry as the wind tussles my long flowing hair. I can gain 2 popularity. I can trade the caravan for a variety of goods. I can pay 2 to gain any 3 resources, or I can pay 3 popularity to gain any 5 resources. I'm going to gain 2 popularity, and then I'm going to pay 2 to gain 3 resources. So I'll pay my 2 now, and then I'll figure out my 3 resources and popularity. So first gain my 2 resources, or my 2 popularity. And then what resources do I want? What can I spend on my next turn? Well, interestingly enough, if I take 2 oil drums, I can spend that this turn. So I'm going to do that. And then for my last one, I will probably just take an iron. So 1 iron and 2 oil drums. And they all go where my character is, right here. All right. So that's all of my move action. That was a pretty long move action. For the second part, I can pay 2 oil, and I can do an upgrade action. So I might as well use the 2 oil I just got. So we'll do that, and I'll take another upgrade action. I have 2 more upgrades left, so I'll take the one off the produce action, and I only have 1 spot to put it. I'll put it there. So that's the end of my turn. Now the Automa is gonna go. So it's going to skip this action because it has this action because I'm playing as the Automa. Otherwise it would have tried to move a mech forward. It is going to get a coin and a mech though. So a mech gets deployed and it gets a coin. And if I had the coin enlist bonus, I would get that, but I don't. And now the star goes up. Alright, so it's my turn. I think I am going to take the produce action now. Start spending some of these resources that I have. I do have to lose one power and one popularity, so I have to hope I don't get attacked. But I get to produce a lot, so let's see what happens. So first things first, I produce on 3 different hexes, and it just happens to be that I have 3 different hexes with lots of workers on them. So I have to produce what is on each of those. So this one right here is going to produce an oil drum, because that's what that produces. This is going to produce 4 lumber. I haven't had any lumber in this game yet, so we're getting all this out now. That's good for me. And then I'm going to also produce 2 more food. Kind of way too much food, but I can use food for other stuff, including my 5th action to get combat cards and boost my bolster. So boost my power. So that's my my produce action, and then my bottom action is I can pay 2 food and I can enlist. So I'm definitely gonna I'm gonna pay 2 food to enlist. I get 2 coins and another list action. So I got a lot of food here, so I'm gonna take off 2 food. I'm gonna take 2 food off this space. And I'm going to enlist we'll enlist the combat cards next, I guess, because that seems to be the next most important thing. Money has not been much of a problem for me this game, unless I've been forgetting to pay for something. So so we're going to take the 2 popularity, the free 2 popularity, 1-time bonus. Boom, boom. Puts me back up to 8. And now if I can actually spend my last popularity, or I get to 13 popularity and spend my last power, I can do my objective card. So I might try to do that. It's going to be a little close, but I think it's doable. Gonna take a few actions to do it though. So anyway, the automata is gonna go, and it goes. If it was me, I would get a special action. It's not me. So a mech is going to move, and how do mechs move again? I don't have it memorized yet. The character in mech closest to Automata's home base, so I only have 1 in the home base right now. Territories in the neighborhood of any Automata unit or its home base which do not contain an enemy unit or combat unit other than the one accepted. So territory that is the shortest distance from an enemy combat unit. So So I believe it's going to want to go here. That's the closest to an enemy unit. And it's also closest to the factory, which should be its tiebreaker. Alright, so what else happens? It's going to gain 3 more powers. Now this is getting a little bit dangerous for me, and it would get a worker. But I do finally get a bonus to my popularity, which is great. So I'm going to go from 8 to 9. That puts me in striking distance of this objective card. So it's my turn now. And I think that's what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to pay 1 to get 2 popularity. And I didn't take my 2 coins before from my enlist action, so I spend 1 of those. So it puts me at 11 popularity. I'm doing this instead of actually getting resources. So 2 more, and I can get this out. All right, so that's the top action. Sorry, I was looking at stuff. I'm gonna do the bottom action. I'm gonna pay 3 lumber. So I haven't done this all game. This is the first time I'm doing it. To build something, I have 4 lumber on the board. I'm gonna pay 3 to build something, and I think I am going to I think I'm gonna take the monument, and I'm gonna build it. I get bonus points for building next to encounter spaces, so the most obvious thing to do, I think, would be to build here first, because if I build there, I'm next to two encounter spaces, 1 there and 1 there. So that's going to get me at least 4 points at the end of the game, just for doing that alone. And then it also unlocks this on my card, which basically, yeah, I forgot to do this last turn. I now get a bonus to my popularity whenever I take this action, which I'm probably going to do soon. Yep, so that's it for my turn. So now the Automata goes. The Automata is going to move another mech. It does not have another mech to move, I don't believe. And it's... I think it's going to want to stay where it is, right? Yep, it's going to want to stay where it is. But it's going to get 4 more power. 1, 2, 3, 4. Whoops. Putting it at 14, so it's really close to getting it 16, and it would get another worker. But I get another combat card because I have the combat card enlistment bonus. I can flip mine over. Mine can be public. So I have 2 3s and a 2. I just don't know what they get. So, all right. So now it's my turn. I need to figure out a way to lose all my power. Well, I think the easy choice for me right now. There's no easy choice. I lose a popularity if I take that action, which brings me down to 10. And that's not good. And it's hard to get rid of your power. Easy way to do it would be to fight, and lose it, but I don't think that's worth it. So I think I'm gonna hope. I think I'm gonna take another produce action. I kind of don't need to take a produce action, but I can get my last enlistment out, which, you know, sure, I don't really need it, but I think I get a star when I get all 4 enlistment outs, so might as well do that for the star. That will let me lose my last power. Yeah. Oh wait, no. Duh. There's an easier way to do this, I think. Yeah, we're gonna. Thought process on this is hard. And I don't need to produce. Yeah, we're gonna produce. We're just gonna get it done. No, we are going to. No, we're gonna produce, like I said. I'm gonna get my power down to 0. My popularity is gonna drop to 9. I'm just doing that without showing it on the camera. That's what I have to pay. I get to produce on 3 spots, so let's show all that. So my popularity is officially 0 for my objective card. My popularity down to 11. No, down to 10. I'm hoping that one of the next 2 cards will be a bonus to popularity. That's what I'm gambling on. All of this is going to generate resources, so we're going to get 1 oil drum, we're going to get 4 wood, 1, 2, 3, 4 wood, and 2 more food. And then that's the produce action. Then I'm gonna spend 2 food to get my last enlist out. So I'm gonna spend 2 food from that space. I'm gonna get 2 coins, and I'm gonna get my last enlistment action. So that's gonna get me 2 combat cards, and I draw a 2 and a 5, so I have a 5 again, so that's somewhat good news, although I really don't want to get into a combat right now. And because I have all 4 enlistment out, I get a 2nd star onto the board. And it goes in this spot right there. So it's 2 stars to 1 right now. However, now the Automa gets to go. So interestingly enough, the Automa is going to try to move a mech again, and it can't. It's not trying to attack. But I think it's going to get a star right now. I gotta check how many stars it has. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, I should have gotten a star last turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. So last turn it actually got a star out onto the board. So again, it could be a random one. So we'll say it also got the enlistment action. So right now it's 2 stars to 2 stars. Can't move the mech. It's not going to do anything. It's going to just try to move it to the same spot. It is going to get 2 more power, so it's going to get a 3rd star out onto the board. So now it's going to get it onto the power space. That's one of the bonus stars it can get on its own. I don't have a lot of turns left, that's for sure. And it's also going to get a mech out onto the board. And even more unfortunate for me is I get a bonus. I think this is a May though. I think I can choose to not take this, but I would get a bonus power if I wanted it. Let me double check if I have to take this or not. Enlist, list. I think everything is May. So I have to look that up. I don't know if it's a may, or if it's a must. They talk about may a lot. Page 20, May. I think it is May. Yes, I don't think I have to take it, so I can keep my power at 0, so that's what I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna take that bonus. And I believe I moved the star up already for this. Let's make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so that's correct. Alright, so it's my turn now. I didn't get the bonus that I wanted to. But I can move and do a bunch of different things, so I think I'm going to do that now. So first things first, I'm going to move 3 units. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to move my main character, sorry. I'm going to move my main character 1 space to a lake, and then I'm going to teleport over here. Nope, I'm going to teleport here, so that's 1 movement. No. Yes. Okay, it's my first movement. Second movement, I'm going to take this enlistment token. Or, sorry, encounter token. We're going to see what I get for encounters. Alright, so go fishing with the soldiers, gain 2 food and gain 1 popularity. Alright, this is pretty good. Gain 2 food and gain 1 popularity. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to pay 4 to deploy a mech, because I don't want to lose any popularity. So I'm going to gain 2 food and gain 1 popularity. Why not? 2 food and 1 popularity. So that puts me back at 11. That's what I needed to be. So now I can, on my next turn, get the 2 popularity and get this objective out. And then I can pay 4 to deploy a mech. So I'm going to do that. I pay 4, it puts me down to 4 coins. I'm going to put out a mech right where I'm at as well. And then I have one more movement left. I think I'm just gonna move my mech back to where my workers are and not use the other one because I can't get across the river, and moving up one doesn't really do much, and I don't want to get into a fight if I can avoid it, so that's what we're gonna do. Alright, so I still have the second part of my action, which is I can spend 2 oil and do an upgrade action and get a coin, which I'm gonna do. I have the 2 oil on the board from when I produced. And this is my last upgrade action. So I get a star on the board for having all my upgrades done, I believe. No, then maybe that's not a... No, that is a star. So that is this first star all the way over here. Now it is 3 stars to 2 stars. No, 3 stars to 3 stars. Alrighty, so now the Automata's gonna go. Alright, so it does not get a move action, but it does get 2 mechs and a combat card. So it gets both of its mechs out. And then I get a coin for a bonus. So I will take that. And the star goes up. Game is definitely coming to a close very shortly. Alright, so it is now my turn. I am going to take the trade or action. I'm going to pay a coin to get 2 popularity. So my popularity is now up to 13. I've reached that top tier, and I have this objective card that I didn't think I was going to be able to do, but have 0 power, at least 13 popularity, and at least 5 workers. So I have become a beloved pacifist, despite the fact I have actually gotten a star on the board from combat 2 from defending myself. So I get a star out. I got a star out on my objective, which is this one. 4 stars. And then I can still do the bottom action, which is pay 2 wood. I'm going to be paying 2 wood. Build something. So let's do that. I'm going to... build my mine, I think, right where I am standing. No, not right where I'm standing. Well, yeah, I have to build somewhere where I'm standing. That's an unfortunate thing right there. You know what? I'm actually going to build my mill right where I am, because that will help me get out my last worker next time I produce, if I end up producing. But if I want to speeding just get stars into the board, that's a good way to do it before the Automata does. So anyway, that's the end of my turn. And when I build, that's all that happens. So the Automata's gonna get to go now. And I think I forgot to push the star up. Double check. I think all these are stars, so it's easy to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 spaces. It should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Nope, that's correct. So, all right. So it's good to be getting a. Alright, so a worker is going to move A worker wants to move, if I remember correctly, to a space. Let's see. So I'm going to move the one that's closest to my home base. So there's one in my home base. Territories in the neighborhood of any Automata unit or its home base which do not contain an enemy unit or an Automata worker. Territory that is the neighborhood of the most Automa units. Automa. Automa. I don't know how to actually say this word. I've probably been saying it wrong the whole time. Automa. Alright. Automa units. And is it in the neighborhood of enemy combat units? So 1, 2, 1, 3, 2, 2, 2. So I think it wants to go there. I think it's a valid space. Actually, no, here would also be 3. That's closer to the factory, so there we go. Alright, so it moves, it gets 2 more power, but it's already at 16. It gets a worker, and then I get a bonus to my popularity. So let's do that. Alright, so it's my turn. Let's see if I can close this out. But it did get a star this turn, sorry. So we will say that it got its objective card out as well. Alright, what do I want to do with my turn here? If I get my last mech out, okay, so yeah, that's what I'm going to do, because now I need to start getting points. So I'm going to pay 1. I'm going to bolster to get myself 3 power. So that puts me on 3 power on the power track versus his 16. I'm also going to get a bonus popularity, and then I'm going to pay 1 iron. So let's get my bonus popularity first. I'm going to pay 1 iron that I have on the board to deploy my last mech. Let's protect all this stuff up with the mech here. Then I get a star for getting all my mechs out. Oops. That puts me at 5 stars. To his 4. To their 4. And I get 3 coins back from all that. 1, 2, 3. Alright. So it is now their turn. Alright, it's going to try to move a mech. I think it's going to move it to one of these spaces. Not sure which one though. Non-attacking move mech. Territories in the neighborhood of any Automata unit and home base which do not contain enemy unit or Automa combat unit other than the one selected in step 1. So we are going to pick up 1 from the home base. Solitary does the shortest distance from an enemy combat unit. Enemy combat units territory closest to the factory. They are all equal distance to the factory. So normal reading order, it's going to want to go there. It's going to get 2 coins. So let's get exchange. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it gets 2. And then it would also get a mech as all its mech, and then it gets a star. Alright, so that's it for that that turn. It is now my turn. So what else can I get stars at? I can get I can produce right now and get my last. Although I could get a star out from my, but it doesn't matter how I get my last star out. I could produce, and in doing so I can get a worker out. That would be my last star. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna produce. I have a mill on a worker space. I do lose 1 power and 1 popularity, and I think that's the end of the game. It triggers right now. I don't get any other bonuses. I believe that's how that works. So now we calculate the final score. Let's see what the final score is. Let's do the scoring of the Automa first. Scores that views the human player. 4 coins per star placed. So it placed 4 stars, so it's going to get 16 coins. 3 coins per territory controlled. This one I was not really calculating at all, so let's figure this out. I might write this down now. I really have paper, so I'm going to write on this. So it gets 16, 3 per territory it controls. So it controls 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 territories. So what is that? 8, 16, 24. Since it doesn't produce resources or build structures, it doesn't gain coins for these. You score as in the multiplayer game, except that for your resources, you score a maximum of 6 resources per territory. The winner is determined as usual, except that resources are not used to break ties. Alright, so in addition to the 40 that it got, it also has 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 coins. So 56 points. And I think that's it for the Automata. So now let's score me. So to start with, let's just go down the checklist for scoring. Coins in hand, let's do that first. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 coins in hand. Every star token placed, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 star tokens because I got my last worker out. So that gives me 5 per star, so that's 30 points. Every territory controlled, 1, 2, 3, 4 territories, so I get 16 points because I'm in this top popularity I'm in this top popularity category there, so I get bonus coins for that. They control the factory. Too bad they... Oh, so they actually get another 9 points. So what did they have? 54 plus 9, 63. Alright, so every 2 resources controlled, but I can only count 6 on a single hex. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, 2, yeah, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 5 times 15, I get 15 points for that. And then the structure bonus tile. I have a building here next to these two, or next to this one, and then I have a building here next to these two. So according to the tile, I get 4 points. What does that put me at? 7, 30, 16, 15 plus 4. So what is this? 31 plus 30 plus 7 plus 4. That's 61. $72 to 63. So, assuming that the average game is 75 points, I didn't do that well, but I beat the Automata 72 to 63. Assuming I played everything correctly and didn't cheat and didn't mess up and didn't skip a rule. But yeah, that's solo play for Scythe. Again, I played on the easiest difficulty, so next time I play, I will play one difficulty up. There's basically 5 difficulties, 4 official ones, and then one like super uber difficult one. I'll probably try playing with a different faction. One interesting thing this game comes with, though, is an achievement sheet. Hold it up to this camera. Every time you play, you can kind of like log the last time you played. Like if you can log 2 achievements per game you play. So you can write your name down if you were the first to do anything. So I was the first to win with 1 player, so I'm gonna write my name here. Let's do that right now. What is today? Last time I played was November 12th. Now it is May 4th. 17. My name. Mike. Whackasm. And then first player to place all 6 stars but not win, that I did not qualify. First players for each player mat. First winners for each player mat. I could qualify for that. First winners for each faction. I could qualify for that too. I did not win with 100 or more. I could do the first winner of this year. First winners with 6 or less popularity. Did not qualify. First winners who won more than 2 combats. Did not qualify. First winners without any upgrades. Did not qualify. First winners without any mechs. First winners without any structures. First winners without any recruits. So I don't qualify for any of those. So you know what? I am going to do the first winner with Pollyanna, because let's get my name on all of these. So 5, 4, 17, Mike, Whackasm. All right, well, that is it for this this playthrough of Scythe, and I'm gonna be done for now. Thanks for watching. I will be playing this again soon, and I will be playing enough times so that I can try to go up the difficulty. Probably playing about 5 times, maybe more, maybe less, depending on what happens. So yeah, feel free to tune in. I didn't really get any live streamers this time, but that's totally fine. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I'm new at this. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I will get this uploaded to YouTube soon. Alright. I won't be playing next Tuesday, but I normally do board games on Tuesdays, Tabletop Tuesday. Today was like a special extra day. I got a chance to set all this up, and it was fun. So, alright, adios.